In this demonstration, we're going to spend some time learning how to troubleshoot services on a Windows system. Services are special applications that run on Windows. They run in the background without a user interface. For example, if I were to come over here and launch Notepad, I see a user interface that I can use to interact with it. If I go into Task Manager, under Apps, I see my Notepad executable. Notice down here that there's a lot of other features running on this system, but I see only Notepad on the desktop. We can see the same thing over here on the Details tab. These are all services. They run in the background. They don't provide a user interface like Notepad does, but they do provide us with critical services that are required for Windows to run. From time to time, these services have problems and you'll need to be able to troubleshoot them. For example, on this system, I use a special piece of software to establish a remote connection with another computer over the internet. It allows me to communicate with that other computer so that I can provide tech support. Let's close these windows and take a look at this software. When I tried to establish this remote connection, I got an error message indicating that the service isn't responding. It's not that I can't contact the remote computer or that I have incorrect credentials. I can't even get the application to run properly. So in this case, we need to do troubleshooting. The name of the application that I'm using here to establish the connection is TeamViewer. That gives me a good clue as to what service I need to look for to troubleshoot the problem. Let's go ahead and close this. You troubleshoot services on a Windows system using the Services app. If you search for Services.mp4, you can click it from the search results and the app opens. Here I see a list of all the services that are currently running on this system. We see a list of each service. We see a description of what that service does. We see its current status, whether it's running or not. We see how it is started. Is it automatically when the system boots or does it have to be started manually? And we see the name of the user account that the system runs as on the system. In this situation, I'm having trouble with my TeamViewer service. I scroll down and sure enough, there's my TeamViewer service. If I look in the status column, I note right away that I've got a problem. Its startup type is set to disabled. That gives me a clue right away that the service, for whatever reason, was not started when the system booted up. I'll double click the service and here I can configure various things. For example, notice here under startup type, it's been set to disabled. That's why it stopped. If I click this drop-down list, I can now decide whether I want it to start manually, meaning I have to come into the Services desktop app and start the service whenever I want to use it. Or I can set it to automatic, in which case it'll automatically be started every time the system boots. That's what I want to do. I use this service frequently enough that I want it loaded when the computer starts. Click Apply. If the service does not start, I have two things I can do. I can come over here and click Start, or I can reboot the system. It says that the service is running, so I should be good to go. Click OK. Here I can see TeamViewer is now set up to automatic and the status is running. If for some reason I needed to stop the service or restart it, I could come back here and do so. I'll close this window. Before we end, I want to show you that you can manage services a few more ways. The first being Task Manager. Now, you can't do nearly as much in Task Manager as you can in the Services desktop app, but it still can be a useful tool. Let's go to the Services tab in Task Manager. You can see that all of the same services we just looked at are all listed here as well. For example, here's my TeamViewer service. Here's its current status. It's running. Within Task Manager, I can right-click the service, and when I do, I can perform some basic management tasks, such as restarting the service or stopping it. If I right-click again, we can also go to Details. In that case, the process associated with that service is highlighted, and I can see some information about that process listed here. Let's close Task Manager. Be aware that you can also use the System Configuration tool to manage services on the system. Let's come down, type msconfig, press Enter, and then click Services. Here, you can enable or disable particular services at startup in this interface by checking these boxes. Now, that being said, as you go through the list of services, you probably won't recognize very many of these. You won't know whether a service is necessary or not. So be careful before you go through here and start disabling services. Before you do that, go ahead and go on the internet and search the name of that service to find out what it is, what it does, and if it's necessary for the system to run or not.